As a wedding filmmaker, one of the most important and stressful transitions is to start lighting your wedding receptions. Now, a lot of us start out just kind of using what we're given. Available light, ambient, whatever's there, we kind of just set our camera and shoot it like that. I say cut that out because as soon as you start lighting your wedding receptions, you're never gonna go back. For those of you who don't know me, so all of this is just what I had before with 2 lights added. The biggest difference is focusing on the shape of the light, not just the exposure. The entire background has been lowered. You won't see people's faces, you won't see distractions. The candle light and reflections in the window are more bokeh and like add to the scene instead of overshadow it. It's all about separating the subject from the background, whether that's actual space and depth of field or color of light, color temperature. You want the person watching your wedding film to focus on the subject right here. So the key light is illuminating the face, the person giving the speech to the bride and groom here, in an even way so that it's flattering, but still there's a little bit of shadow over here. If you think about it, the key light, the subject, and the hair light are all in a straight line. And that line doesn't intersect with the bride and groom or the camera. And I realize that we don't have the luxury of lighting our receptions perfectly, exactly how we want to every single time. But I hope these tips kind of give you an idea of the basics in every situation and kind of gives you the confidence to actually try it your first time. So let's talk about the key light over here real quick. I've got a Dido Light up on a very tall stand, and that's important because for the key light, you want it to look down at your subject, because if it was lower on the stand, the light would just shine right into the guest's eyes in the background here, and you want it to be higher and tilted down so that the light goes and hits the ground behind me instead of their faces. You want to be respectful of the guests. I also love the barn doors on the Dido because you can close it down exactly just to how you want it. And technically, I just need to illuminate a little box like this. So close it down as much as possible. So the Dido has a spot and flood, and it does exactly what you think. It makes it like a flashlight or flooding a lot of light everywhere. But the nice thing is that if you put it on flood mode, but then close down the barn doors, it gives you a very hard edge. And it makes it almost like a Fresnel in the idea that the light everywhere is very even. It doesn't fade off on the edges, and that's not what you want in this kind of situation. You want to control the exact little sliver of light that is going on this subject right here, just to avoid the light going in other places and hitting people in the face back there. I also love that this is a dimmable light, so I suggest turning it on as soon as you set it up in low settings, just so guests kind of get used to the idea of there being a light right there. But then, the moment the toasts happen, you can kind of fade it up slowly so that it isn't an on and off. It's more of a gentle fade. Once again, it's about not distracting the guests. And you do want this to be the strongest light. You want this face to stand out against everything else. Even the uplighting in the background, the candles, the hair light, this has to be the light that illuminates what people are going to look at. The face. So the Dido Light being up on a very tall stand, you want to make sure you sandbag it because people are going to knock into it. Kids, people, it's dark. People are dancing and drinking. So yeah, you don't want anything to fall. In the standard version of it, you have to plug it into the wall. So bring an extension cord and put it off into a corner or side so that it's out of the way. And being a tall stand, you can kind of just snipe exactly where you want that light to be. So it works. So the tricky balance is having the light as small as possible, exactly where you want it to be, but then also getting your talent to stand right here. You need to know if your talent's going to be walking around because they might fall out of the light. If you walk over here, I'm out of the light already. So you need to either tell your talent to be exactly right here or set marks and make sure they understand that. Talk to the DJ, the maitre d', the manager, and tell them to give you the mic to give them, or tell them exactly where to put them. And even if you communicate to everyone this plan and everyone agrees, they might stand in the wrong spot, they might get nervous. So actually, before they even start talking, if you see them wandering, take them over, plant them right here, tell them where to stand. And if you do that in front of all of their guests watching, they're not gonna move. They're gonna stay right there. So for my hair light, I've got a torch LED on a smaller stand, and it's a smaller battery powered light, so I can put it anywhere, and it can even be closer to the subject. It doesn't have to be far and high like the Dido. So you turn the intensity down for the hair light because you don't want to overpower the key light, and you're just using it for shape, for a little bit of hair light. So as always, I've got links in the description for everything that I talked about here. And of course, check out my different kits for wedding filmmakers. I've got lights, cameras, everything you need in those, so you can check them out yourself. But until next time, thank you for watching. Peace.